Everyone is playing a huge game of chicken in the real estate market right now. Picture a fence, and lots of buyers are sitting on this fence, maybe behind this fence, waiting for those rates to drop. And as soon as rates drop, the fence goes down and they're out like hungry animals. Hi YouTube, I'm Kareem Howard with Gerlach Homes, and if you like to stay informed on the Denver real estate market, then please feel free to subscribe. I post these monthly market updates on the very first week of the month, and so you'll definitely stay informed on the market. And throughout the rest of the month, I like to post property tours, community tours, and answer any common questions that you may have, so you definitely don't want to miss out. And without further ado, here is your monthly market update for April of 2024. When are rates going to drop? Why haven't rates dropped? Here are the facts. The Fed promised us rate cuts throughout 2024, but then January goes by, then February, then March, and right now it is April and we still haven't seen any rate cuts. Now I get it. I get the concern because now people are wondering, are we even going to see rate cuts? We are past quarter 1, going into the spring season, and we still haven't seen any movement, anything happen with these rates. So the next time that the Fed meets is going to be at the end of this month, and it is highly unlikely that we are going to see rate cuts even in May. And so June, July, August is definitely a better time period where we might actually see some movement, but even then, nothing is guaranteed. So why are rates staying steady as they are right now? The reason rates are pretty much staying the same, and they're probably going to continue like this for the next month, maybe the next 2 months, is because inflation's staying steady and we still have a relatively low unemployment rate. With these economic signs, there's really no reason to lower rates because everything's pretty steady, everything's looking good. Now, the more important question that you should ask yourself is what's going to happen when the rates drop. Right now, even with high interest rates at about 6.8%, we have a big issue with low inventory. We have way too many buyers and not enough sellers wanting to sell their houses, which is going to be backed up when I show you guys the market stats, and it pretty much reinforces the idea that we are still in a seller's market. Now, earlier when I showed you guys the fence, and I talked about how as soon as rates drop, the fence drops, and we have all the hungry animals coming out, that's going to make the problem a little bit worse. Maybe more sellers are going to be more inclined to sell their house because they can get into a lower interest rate market. But with the increase of buyers, we're not going to see enough sellers wanting to sell, and the low inventory problem might go from something like this to something like this. So I was looking up some mortgage rate predictions by the end of 2024 by some big names. Names like the Mortgage Bankers Association and the National Association of Realtors. And a pretty good group consensus is that by the end of 2024, mortgage rates should be sitting around 6.1%. So if rates do come down to 6.1%, up from the 6.8%, that's saving at about 0.7% this year, which could save you around $200 to $300 on your monthly mortgage payment each month, which definitely adds up in the long run. Let me paint you guys a common scenario and let me know down in the comments if you are in a similar situation. You're renting right now and you're in a good spot financially. Over these past few months, maybe the past year, you've been working on your credit, and you've been saving up some money to put down on a house. Or maybe you already know there's so many different first-time homebuyer programs out there where you don't need to save as much for a down payment and you have the government paying a lot of your money down, but nonetheless, you feel like you're about ready for a home. But then you go to family dinner or you see news articles, everyone is talking about how interest rates are at historic highs and it's dumb as hell to buy a house right now. Now there's two options. Do you A, start looking for homes right now, which might go against your friends, your family, the blog posts, the news articles, YouTube videos, everything? Or do you B, wait for rates to drop and start looking for homes next year and renew your lease? Now, the sad answer, you guys, is that there's no clear-cut answer, and every single scenario really comes down to you as a buyer. Now, for example, in example A, let's say you start looking for homes right now. You find a home you like, and you lock in at a 6.8 interest rate. Maybe you even buy it down a little bit, but you lock in at a good rate, and you start capitalizing on equity this year, you make some appreciation money this year, and when rates do drop next year, maybe you refinance and you come in at a better monthly payment and you're in a good situation. Or maybe even B, maybe you wait because maybe your rent's not as much as your mortgage would be, and you know you really can't stomach that mortgage unless your rate was a little bit lower, so you stay comfortable this year, maybe you save a little bit more money this year, put more money down next year, and then by the time you're ready to buy next year, rates are a little bit lower, you have more money to put down, and that monthly payment is easier to stomach so you're not stressed out. I think the biggest thing about this is when it does come down to you, it really comes down to, are you going to be stressed out? Can you make those monthly payments? Are you living paycheck to paycheck just to live off of those monthly payments? And the term for this is house poor. And if you are feeling house poor, where you feel like you can only pay your mortgage and you can't do anything else, then it's probably not that good of a situation to get into. Now picture this seller situation, because maybe you're in a similar scenario. You bought your house a couple years ago and maybe your interest rate is at like 4 to 5%. So it's definitely much, much lower than what interest rates are at now. But you're in your house and you're like, I'm kind of tired. Maybe you're tired of the house. Maybe you want a different school district for your kids. You hate your neighbors. Maybe you want a bigger house, or maybe you want a smaller house. Anyway, you want a change, but you don't know if you should sell your house now and try to get in a higher interest rate market. Now you can either A, stick it out and wait for interest rates to drop even close to or maybe even below your current interest rate. You can B, sell your house and just buy a new house. Or you can C, rent out your current house and buy another property. So the main problem with A, of waiting for interest rates to drop at or below your current interest rate, is there's no timeline. We have no idea when rates could even get close to 5%, let alone lower than 5%. We definitely know it's not going to happen this year. But what if it doesn't happen next year, the year after, maybe 5 years down the line, and rates are still at around 6%? Would you be okay with that? And the thing I want to talk about is, if you're okay with sitting in your house and you like your house, you don't really have too many big issues, a big reason to move, then just stay. I think stay on your investment, build up more equity in your house, and then maybe you can move that equity to something else later down the line. Now, situation B, we said you want to sell your house and move to another house. Maybe you're moving jobs to a different city. Maybe your kids hate the school district, you hate the neighborhood, things like that. And you're like, I'm tired of being here. I don't care what rates are at. I want to sell my house. Now, the good news about that is we talked about there's low inventory right now. And so there's not that many homes for sale, and there's still a lot of buyer demand. So it's still a great time to sell your house right now. You'll get really good money for your house just because there's not a lot of options for these buyers. Now with option C, renting out your current house so that you can buy another house is a great option if you've been looking to make more money in real estate. It's something you've been thinking about and you still want to get another house. Now with all of these situations, I still think it would be in your best interest to talk to a professional and just see what your options could be. Maybe it be a professional real estate agent, a mortgage lender, anybody like that, or maybe even someone who's owned real estate for a long time in your family and you just want some really good sound advice. I think you should seek help and just weigh out all of your options. Now I want to talk about our market stats straight from DMAR, which is going to make people that own a home now or people that are thinking about selling their home really, really happy. The median close price month over month is up 3.48% at $595. Now closed homes is up about 13% and pending sales is up about 32%. So this is really good for sellers because we know that homes are going under contract, they're selling, and they're selling for more than they used to, even month over month. Now we're still seeing an increase in everything else. We're seeing an increase in active listings, an increase in new listings, but the main thing that we are seeing a decrease in is months of inventory. I do think when interest rates start to drop, there's definitely going to be more sellers that want to sell their home because they don't have such a big gap in their interest rate difference. But I still don't know if this is going to solve the low inventory problem. I guess only time will tell. Now, I talked about how the next Fed meeting is going to be at the end of April, early May. And so maybe in the next market update, we hear some good news and maybe rates drop. It's going to be highly unlikely, but I can keep my fingers crossed. Well, that is going to conclude the market update for April of 2024. Main key takeaways: we have low inventory, inflation is steady, rates are steady, and we don't know when rates are going to drop, but they're still going to drop, so don't worry. I am Kareem Howard with Gerlach Homes. If you like this video and you want to learn a little bit more about the Denver real estate market, or if you do want to talk about some of these scenarios that I talked about, then please feel free to contact me. I will put all of my information down in the description. We can set up some one-on-one time and just go over everything to see if it's a good option to get in now or maybe later. I will see you guys in the next video.